how do you know what your property is actually really worth? How do you really know this? And how can you confirm this? In this video, exactly what I'm going to be sharing with you is how you can really find out what the value of your property price is. And I'm not sharing with you what Zoopla is saying because that is skewed numbers. That's not the exact price. It's not what estate agents are saying because obviously they want to sell your property. And it's not what the valuers are doing because they're downvaluing properties. So I want to share with you a system and a method where you can really find out and drill down and be confident with understanding what the price of your property is. So if you're financing, if you're selling, whatever you're doing with your property, you understand what the value is. So let's jump into this right now. Now, if you're joining me for the first time, my name is Kam Dovedi. I'm the founder of Premier Property, and I do get a bit excited because this stuff is so exciting. So let's continue, and I'm going to show you the exact same systems that we use to actually make this work. So you should be able to see my desktop in a moment. And I just want to mention that if you're watching this on YouTube, we have a YouTube channel, and if you're liking these videos, then do subscribe. And I'd love you to subscribe and make some comments. And if you are watching these on a regular basis, the way that you can get the latest video to you is by clicking on that bell icon, which I'm sure you've heard about before. Just click on that bell icon and I'll make sure that we get this video to you straight away. Any questions and comments, at Premier, we're here to help you. So we're going to use one of our most favorite tools, and that's Rightmove. And this really gives Rightmove purpose. So you can really use Rightmove for the right reasons, and you can really use it as a solid tool for you to be investing and moving forward in property. So let's do this together. So we're going to go onto Rightmove. So we have Rightmove here. And now, many people look at Rightmove for properties to buy. What I'm going to share with you today is how you can find, like what I say, what your property is actually worth, or what your next investment property is actually worth. So you can really define this. And the way we do this is we jump straight to house prices. So we're clicking on house prices and we're clicking on sold house prices. Now, the reason that we're doing this is because on Rightmove, the way that you can confirm a price is by land registry data. A for sale sign doesn't really mean anything. That is just an opinion, as I mentioned, of the estate agent, of Zoopla, or an opinion of the seller. It's an opinion. What we want is facts. And what the UK sold prices part of Rightmove helps you do is to actually identify sold prices, which in fact is specific land registry data. So what do I mean by this? Just for clarity, what I mean is this is what someone's actually paid for a property in those streets, in that area, and you can identify that exactly by knowing that the land registry data is fact. So these are the prices that you will find in sold prices under Rightmove. That's why we're looking over here. Now, once you do this, what you've got confirmation, haven't you? You've got confirmation, so if any valuer is looking at comparables, looking at prices around your property, what they're going to do is they're going to look at the same type of data. Now, being completely honest with you, Rightmove is a free tool. And with Rightmove, what you'll find is it doesn't give you all of the data, but it gives you some of the data that's available on land registry. But you know what? That is good enough. That's good enough for you and I, for all of us, to actually understand what the actual prices are. This has become more apparent as we go through this together. So UK sold prices, just explain why we're using this. So let's type in a postcode here. So I'm just going to type in E13. Part of East London. It could be any postcode, doesn't matter where you are. London, Greater London, satellite town, larger city, somewhere in the Midlands or up north, absolutely fine, or in the south. Wherever you are, this works in the same way. Now, when you enter the postcode, what happens is that it brings up this area only, as you can see the cursor. It brings up the information for all the years, and it also brings up all the property types. And it also brings up whether they are freehold or leasehold. Now, remember, you want to find a property that gives you a really good comparable so that you understand what your property is worth. This is the point of this process. And the way that you can really do this is, first of all, checking in on this area only. Now, as we've entered a part of the postcode, that's going to expand the result a little bit, which is absolutely fine, and that's exactly what you want. Now, the next thing we notice here is the all years. Now, of course, all the years, tracking back to the 1990s and so on, isn't really going to be relevant for us. So what we want is really data where properties have sold most recently. So in Rightmove, you can actually click on the last 1 year, and it will show you some of the properties that have sold within the last year. Now, if you're enjoying this type of video and you haven't subscribed already, then do feel free to subscribe. And you've heard this before. If you haven't clicked on the bell icon, feel free to click on the bell icon, and we'll make sure that we continue to share videos just like this and so much more information as it comes out. So you get it hot off the press, if you like, just by clicking on that bell icon. So if you click on last 2 years, what you will find, Rightmove's algorithms will actually give you all of the data it has available in the last 1 year. Hope I'm making sense here for you. Yeah. So last 2 years, however, it gives you all the data for the 1 year. It's just a little bug. No one really knows about that, but I just thought I'd share that with you. So now, what we look on the next tab is all property types. So if you're of course looking for a house or a flat, you can decide. So you can click on that. So I'm going to click on terraced as an example here, and then on the final tab, is it freehold or leasehold? So I'm looking for a terraced house, so I'm going to type in here freehold. So when you do this, what you'll find is that it brings the information up, and here we can see a list of 202 properties that are coming up with the information. Now this little tab here where it says date sold, now that's the one that you actually want to be ticking, because you want to know the properties that have sold most recently. That's the most important, not actually the price for what they sold for. So that is the one we're going to keep it as a prominent tick box there. And as you can see here, there's a 2-bedroom house here which sold for $317,000 on the 14th of October 2020. So that is the most recent sold comparable that we can find for this 2-bedroom house. Now, what you can do from here is to have a little confirmation just to make sure you got the right information. And on the right hand side here where you can see the cursor, we've got a photo here luckily. Sometimes there are photos, sometimes there aren't, but in this case there's quite a few photos. So you can just click on that, and you just want to make sure with the images that you're looking for a property that is like for like. So the property that you're buying or your property that you're refinancing, is it a like for like scenario? You wouldn't want to compare a new build with a Victorian 1900s or a 1930s or a 1960s or a 1980s type of property. So you really want to be aware of this, and that's why these images really help to confirm. Now remember, we're doing this in the luxury of wherever you are, in your home or your office, doing it all online, so it's very easy to do. So here what we've got is a nice comparable, and this is actually a property that we're looking at. It's a similar type, so that's absolutely fine. You can have a quick look through the photos if you wish, just to find out, that price, why was it that price? And as we can see, this property needed some work on it. It's actually a property, similar to a property that we're looking at in this area. So that gives us a very good solid comparable. So now you are aware of the images and that they're similar. You can also look at the floor plan just to get an idea of what you could potentially be doing with it. So your juices start flowing in terms of how you could configure it and what more you could do. Something, if you'd like me to, just comment and I'll share with you on another video if that's something that you like me to help you with. And so you got the map and you got the street view, so you can very quickly get a like for like scenario and understand that the property that you're comparing is the right one for you. So you can spend 10-15 minutes on that, really enjoy that process, gets you a lot of information. And next what we do is we jump back into just going to click back here, just jump back on there. So there we have, very quickly, we have found that you now have comparables, knowing the prices, knowing what you're looking for, how to value your properties, and we've done that so quickly, haven't we? Now you can really get into the mindset of a valuer. So how do we do this and what do I mean by this? Let me share with you. So this is great as a list. However, Rightmove gives you more information. So what you can do now is you can actually click on this little map, and this is fantastic, really good tool. And what this does is it actually allows you to check the property that you're valuing. It also allows you to check the property that you're buying or you're refinancing, and you can look at it on the map. And what you will find is that valuers will look at comparables that are really near your properties. So what we do at Premier Properties, we look at the streets that are around and nearby. So ideally, you want the same street. If you can't find properties that are valuing on the same street, you can look within 5 streets. So this map really helps you to understand visually what those 5 streets are around you. And if not, you can widen that search to around 10 streets. Keeping in mind, the valuer is probably going to be looking at the same information that you're looking at. So anybody valuing a property is going to have to make the same decisions in the way that you're making the same factual decision. Hope I'm making sense here for you. Now, one of the things you can also be aware of is things like this. So if you look at this information, let's go deeper together on this. You can notice that there are some A roads. Now, A roads can be the defining factor in price points. You might find on an A road, on the left-hand side of the A road, think about your areas, is one price, and on the other side of the A road, the property prices are completely different. Maybe you can think of your local area, and maybe you can think how prices work like that. Interesting, isn't it? And this way, you're actually comparing like for like. So be aware when you're finding your comparables that you are aware of major roads such as A roads. Hope this helps. Makes sense. So now you've got all of this information, and now you are able to make a solid comparable, and you've done this so quickly using Rightmove, using Land Registry. And I hope you're enjoying this information. If you are, then feel free to subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. It's Kam Dovedi helping you to take your property investing to the next level.